In 10 years, I will have a degree.
7 times 8.
7 times 8 is 48. And I will be running for the presidency of the United States of America. And I will be on TV trying to tell people that I'm not insane.
That's the special ball bonus program.
Because they will have interviews like this one on the TV and saying, don't let this guy be president.
Every once in a while, I like to fuck pigs.
That video, what I just did right there, is what's gonna stop me from becoming president.
But I'm gonna fucking tell everyone about aliens. And aliens are gonna show up and be like, thanks, Tom. Fuck, no one knew who we were, you know? But you totally told everybody, thank you so much. And I'd be like, dude, no problem, aliens, you know? What are you laughing at? This is real shit.
Tom's been studying UFOs for a long time. And he reads a lot about it. He does a lot of study on the internet. He's gone out, I know, to Area 51 to try and see UFOs. And he believes that they're there.
We took a ticket and cooperatively together look for lights in the sky.
Right when we left our hotel, a bunch of black cars and police cars came up. You know, a bunch of Secret Service guys jumped out, and then like a Navy admiral. And all, but that guy knows about fucking UFOs.
I don't know if aliens exist or not. I'll say, actually, you know what? I'll say no, just to anger Tom. He can bring me all the proof in the world, and I'll just go, nah, I don't believe it.
What would happen if aliens really came down, dude? That'd be fucked up. Aliens, dude. You're hanging out, we're all having a burrito, and aliens come. It's like, that's not like a normal fucking thing that happens, you know? So people go, yeah, is it gonna be a weird thing? Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, let's go Christmas shopping. There's only a couple weeks left to, oh my God, there's a fucking ship, and these aliens are, whoa, they come out. They're like, fuck, we've just been listening to some Blink and wondering what you guys are doing. And then they're like, all right, well, fuck, we're just gonna cruise over to Vegas and, you know, and go gambling and whatnot, you know, and we'll be all right, aliens. You guys have fun, you know.
Early this year, I set out to do something pretty challenging. I wanted to shift perception on an extraordinary topic that had already over 70 years of research, opinion, and frankly, quite effective disinformation. I had the rare opportunity to present my ideas to an executive with the Department of Defense who worked in special access programs in an area called Watertown, also known as Area 51. That meeting led to multiple clandestine encounters across the United States, from desert airports to vacant buildings deep within Washington, D.C. From these exchanges, I learned 3 things. 1, there are certain things that should never have been secret. 2, there are secrets that were justifiable at the time but should now be disclosed. And 3, there are things that are so unimaginable that certain interests believe that they should never, ever be made public. After this, you might even agree.
Hello, I'm Tom Delonge, and thanks for joining us live today. This quote above me actually happened to me this past year. When I was young, I dreamt about playing a rock show in front of all of my neighbors. As a 7th grader, that seemed unattainable. I never expected to be so lucky as to have a band like Blink-182 in my life. It was something that was much more further out than a dream. It was something not even possible in any scenario that I can think of. When I signed my first major record deal, I took my first check, bought a desktop computer so I could research the possibility of intelligent life in the universe. I'd stay up all night cataloging, archiving, and highlighting small pieces of data, thinking I could find a unified theory of sorts, something to make sense out of the many elusive and mysterious events that seem to have interacted with mankind for thousands of years, sometimes for good and sometimes not so much. My passion for the subject helped me envision a more interesting existence for us all, something more infinite and more exciting than the usual. I was a typical middle-class kid from suburbia, except I loved mystery. It was like I was on my own imaginary ride searching endlessly for an answer to all that is, as if there was such a thing. Now in adulthood, I've started to use my limited notoriety as a tool, a door opener to meet important people. I also did this while combining all of my entrepreneurial experience over the past 15 years into one company that could keep up with my racing mind. The result was a creative machine to help me discover, comprehend, and communicate large themes about the human race. I called it To the Stars. I created a company that can produce original science fiction stories that inspire, entertain, and galvanize thinking. You would be surprised to know how difficult it is for the major film studios to create progressive content that is relevant, modern, and just plain cool. I've met with all of them, and their hands are tied in many ways. I believe we're filling a major void in the content creation space. I sometimes call To the Stars a science fiction Disney, but for adults. Our projects are about dreams, the paranormal, consciousness, and even a historical fiction account behind the UFO phenomenon and our dealings with it. While the company got on its feet, Blink 182 was unraveling in the press. I was traveling around the country secretly for 18 months at the time. I was working my way through NASA, the Department of Defense, and various other agencies. And I couldn't tell anyone at the time, including the band. Then the Wall Street Journal and some other large news organizations reported a story that some rock star was having video conference calls with senior military and defense contractor officials. And I don't think people really knew what to make of it at the time, but the major news publications definitely started taking notice. Even they didn't know how I had that kind of access. And over that time period, the story of the millennia, as we call it, sat quietly in my head. I started to tell it in the book Secret Machines. Back then, I was even visited by a man in a certain agency. The conversation put me in my place fast. It was the first time I really digested the enormity of the national security implications of the UFO subject. His words were, and I remember this sitting in the small room, when your book came out, there were calls coming in from everywhere. You know things you shouldn't know, and I need to know who the hell you are. And 2 days later, I believe he realized the same thing that all the generals did that I was meeting with. I was respectful, humbled by the opportunity. I did everything I said I was going to do, and I was also an advocate for men and women in uniform. Now, back to that Wall Street Journal article. That article lured some very important people out of the shadows, principal players with the highest credentials and resumes. A strategy was developed that I really think can achieve the impossible. You must first understand that the Department of Defense has a culture of secrecy, not out of disdain or distrust for its citizens, but because it's appropriate to protect the lives of its people, technologies, and methods, like my own brother who's spent a career in the Special Forces. It's not in their job description to help you and me understand the universe, past events, or why certain actions were taken on the UFO phenomenon 70 plus years ago. They were too busy actually dealing with it. So this brings us to today. I've worked for 2 years to construct a mechanism that I feel was missing. One that can take the biggest secret and the most controversial secret on Earth and surround it with 3 groundbreaking strategies that will innovate, educate, and hopefully wildly entertain at the same time. It's called To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science. And we did this truthfully, as hard as it may be for you to really understand, to define a future and not be victim to one. And that was the service that I offered. And that's also why I received a ticket to meet some very invisible but also very important people. Now, if there's a subject that could potentially change the world, how would one approach it? Especially if the subject contained earth-changing technology, the need to understand a coming tidal wave of information, and what my partners and I call, again, the story of the millennia. Again, a technology, a need to learn more, and a hell of some stories to tell. Our institution looks to build a perpetual funding machine that can continuously attack those 3 things: aerospace, science, and entertainment. Again, some important stories to tell, a need to learn more, and a plan to engineer the technology observed. This is why I am here. This is why they are here. We're going to bring it to the world. And we're going to show you today how we aim to achieve this. We have a plan to bring the unimaginable, the stuff of dreams, to the world. To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science aims to communicate historic events and forward-thinking ideas through motion picture, and include you on ongoing scientific discovery, and build an exotic craft with an energy source that can revolutionize the world. And I would like you to help us push humanity over an invisible boundary that seems to confine us, forcing us to make the same mistakes over and over again, And now let me introduce you to our team. And how are we going to achieve this impossible thing? So first, my two co-founders. Jim Simivan, a career spy, former senior intelligence service in the CIA's Directorate of Operations, a strategist with the ability to help To the Stars Academy navigate all the many sensitivities involved, either with government or with others who may eventually want what we have. Dr. Hal Puthoff is a theoretical physicist and program director for numerous CIA and Department of Defense classified programs. Dr. Puthoff is the creator of the CIA's own revolutionary psychic spy program still used to this day, and his breakthrough science dealing with the engineering of space-time is crucial to potentially understanding the technology observed. Leading our aerospace division, Steve Justice, literally last month, Steve finished his career as Director of Advanced Systems at Lockheed Martin Skunk Works. And to this day, Skunk Works is the U.S. government's top-tier aerospace organization for the development of advanced aircraft that meet our urgent national security needs. He will explain to you how this technology can revolutionize the world. Lou Elizondo literally finished his career at the Department of Defense as Senior Intelligence Officer in the Office of the Secretary of Defense days ago, and now he is on the stage with us. He served as Director for the National Program Special Management Staff. Forgive me, these titles are very long. And he is going to architect some partnerships with some very sensitive places to help protect us, to help protect the technology that we are going to be building, so we together can achieve the extraordinary. Chris Mellon, chairman of the To the Stars Academy National Security Policy and Scientific Advisory Board, has a long career at the DoD as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence and Minority Staff Director of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Chris actually was involved in reviewing many of our nation's most sensitive activities over the course of his career. I actually met him on a cold call one day, and he turned out to be an incredible strategist, our main conduit to Washington, D.C., and a very cherished friend. Be sure to share this broadcast, because everyone's going to want to hear what he has to say.
Have you ever had the desire to look outward, to the edge of what is known and unknown? We have the chance to do something revolutionary, something that I think has never been attempted before. What if I told you I found a group of like-minded people who held senior positions in the U.S. government, from the CIA to the Department of Defense to the most advanced aerospace engineering groups within our national security establishment, people who have life skills in collecting and decoding elusive information, and they all wanted to do something ambitious, something that could help change the conversation about who we are through an unparalleled search for answers that can propel humanity forward. Today, we are presenting you with To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, a public benefit corporation, the first transparent partnership of its kind between the fields of aerospace engineering, science, and cinematic entertainment, a collaboration with global citizens to explore the outer edges of conventional thinking, targeting the mysteries of the universe and using them to help unify mankind.
Humanity is clustered around a campfire, surrounded by the shadows of an infinite and cold universe. Tom and the others involved with this enterprise want to take torches, stick them in the fire, go on adventures into those shadows to explore those boundary areas and reveal what's there.
What if scientists were given resources to investigate the boundaries of traditional theory? We could finally pull together a unified study from religious scholars, archaeologists, quantum theorists, physicists, and even the most advanced aerospace engineers on the planet.
The truth of the matter is, we now know in our physics, which has been advancing, that something like warp drive is not out of the question.
To the Stars represents an opportunity to reach beyond the normal boundaries of aerospace, to create products that you can call them revolutionary, and it's too mild of a word.
I'm very excited about this. I think it's an opportunity for us to take certain topics, whether that's unidentified aerial phenomena or ESP or telepathy, and really get to the bottom of it.
Starting as a kid, I've always been interested in the actual forefront of physics, right at the edge. These days, standard mainstream physics is really outstripping science fiction.
I was in charge of the advanced aerospace threat that deals with highly sophisticated, unidentified phenomena. In the last 10 years, we've come a long way in our understanding of our place here in this universe. There are physics that we don't quite yet understand. Doesn't mean that they're not real, it just simply means that we don't have the capacity yet to understand those physics.
I think we're all frustrated by the fact that our government and conventional science neglects some of the most interesting and provocative and potentially important issues out there.
One of the things that we must do is challenge ourselves to stand in the future and look back to the present. That's the key to breakthroughs. That's the key to changing life as we know it.
I think it's in our nature to go out and explore and report back what we see. The fact is, we might not necessarily be alone.
These things are real. These things are out there. They've been out there for a long time. They are not the provenance of the government or any government in the world. They belong to us. These are things that happen to people all the time, and these are things that we need to explore. And we need finally to get together to figure out what this is all about.
Using state-of-the-art technology, our own advanced research and development programs, and unique storytelling experiences, our goal is to introduce these unconventional subjects and their potential to affect the world positively through a model that innovates, educates, and entertains, to present a positive and unifying message to all generations in every country and every belief system that the growth of consciousness that we all desire can start here, right now.
And I truly believe now is a time for us to move forward and finally begin to answer some of life's most deepest mysteries.
We can either crawl forward or we can take that viewpoint and say, okay, let's leap forward. Let's try to get the 25th century science this century.
This is the time that we are inviting you, the public, to help build a paradigm-shifting global movement and to own it with us. Together, we can create a vehicle that pushes us forward, where we can hopefully learn that we are much more special and much more connected to each other than we could ever imagine. We are To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, a public benefit corporation.